Welcome back to Master of Command, everyone. Today we continue our Border Troops playthrough. We had just made it last time to the Battle of Hennersdorf to engage the enemy, an encamped army. Yes, we have 3 enemy artillery, 1 enemy cavalry unit, Frey infantry Jaegers, several recruits of varying varieties, 2 musketeers, and 2 fusiliers, one of which is the Heinrich von Prussen unit. Alright, let's see how we do. We're going to fight this battle, and then we're going to hunker down and drill some, mostly for replenishment purposes, before the enemy headquarters marches on our position. Should be pretty good. We'll see what happens. Alright, what do we got here? Okay, there is a river. We may be able to take advantage of it. If we push up to this position here, we can fight the enemy over it, perhaps. The other option is holding our ground here from this wood line over to the small town here. Setting up our artillery on this hill. Or we could potentially try to rush over here, take these positions, maybe put the arty on this hill, and fight them over the river. I'm more inclined to utilize this flank, however. Let's see, is this the... Yes, it is, okay. Their elite troops are on their left wing. Good to know. Alright, let's check the artillery. Nothing too crazy. Alright. And the Hussar, 53-28, 51 accuracy. Well, their cavalry's a little bit better than ours, primarily because they have the carbines and they can attack us at range before they hit us. It's not fantastic, but we'll see what we can do. Yes, I really want to attack part of their army at one time, so let us approach from 2 sides, I think, from here and here. Artillery, I believe, will be right here. We just don't have much range on the artillery, so if we take an offensive posture, we're definitely going to have to press the enemy. So, alright, we'll keep the grenadiers and the skirmishers together. Set them up on this flank. Our more recruit troops will be here. Artillery in the center with cavalry. Alright, let's see if this this whole setup actually works out for us. Hopefully it does. We'll have to find out, I suppose. There we are. Okay. Move them up over here. Move these troops up over here towards the river. And move the cavalry. Alright. See how this works, guys. Hopefully this goes well for us. We will find out very, very soon, I suppose. Spread the cavalry out so they don't get massacred by enemy artillery. Move the grenadiers up here. You get the skirmishers up. Fantastic. Right. Alright, their artillery is currently focused on Dawn. Trying to kill him is one of their chief objectives, evidently. Fantastic. Moving our skirmishers up. We're going to get the grenadiers there here shortly as well. Excellent. Hoping the cavalry can use that as an opportunity there for a little bit of funny business against their light troops. Wow, that was a pretty nasty volley right there. That's not great. Took some heavy damage right there. Come on, cavalry, take them out. Alright, let's see. Yes, they are in range of the cavalry. Let's fire on the cavalry with the guns there. Alright, we're just going to get our troops lined up here as the cavalry continues fighting. Moving the skirmishers up yet further. Fusiliers are nearly in range of our artillery. That's not great. Move some of the Crownland recruits up to take positions. What's the melee on those guys? 42, 32? Alright, not great. Not ideal. Anyway. Ah. Okay, our cavalry got hit primarily by enemy artillery. And true to fashion of the AI right now, they shattered our cavalry with artillery fire. Man. That, I'll be honest with you, that is not my favorite aspect of the enemy AI right now, is targeting our downed units. It's very interesting. But it gives less leeway for maneuvers with your troops. It's a lot more punishing. Alright, the Hungarian troops are going to attack the enemy musketeers together. And we're going to send the general over there to handle that. We're going to get them while they're in the river, which should be extremely beneficial to us. Going to cover the artillery there. Oops, these are grenadiers, so I don't know why I have them forming the line. That's pretty hilarious business. Alright. That's alright, we got it. Wow, we absolutely smashed those musketeers there. That's pretty great. We did get over to cover the guns in time. Gonna send in the Hungarians again. Attack the Fusiliers on their front. Reorganize the Hungarian troops here on the flank. Alright, we're sending in all those troops together. Excellent. And moving up our skirmishers. Alright. Fantastic. And we've run them off. That's great. Come on, let's move. Artillery still focusing on the enemy hussars. Hungarians, let's prepare to move. Nope, I don't want you to. Oh, okay. Let's do that, shall we? There we are. That's good stuff. General needs to get over there. Fantastic. Charging the enemy. Bring our light troops up. Excellent. Really hoping that our cavalry will not be annihilated, unfortunately. Very unfortunate they took the hit they did. It's not fantastic. Okay, guys, I really need you to stop with the charge now. That'd be great. Considering the enemy cavalry is very likely to come at you now. Alright, go get them, boys. Excellent. Alright, what's holding you up, guys? Let's do this. Okay, enemy cavalry is moving up. Hold. Hold. Alright, bracing is somewhat low. Countercharge with the Hungarians to help their pals out. What are you guys doing? Why are you not actually forming a line and firing? That's kind of odd. Let's do that, actually, if you don't mind. That'd be fantastic. Alright, we've run off their Hussaren. Moving the Grenadiers up towards the guns. Oh, okay. They are preparing for a charge. 42-27. Alright, that's not great. General. Let's get over here, my guys. Gonna bring the general over. Hopefully we will hold them off until such a time as we can crush them. Closing in on the enemy. How are our boys holding up? Alright, morale is hurt, but they are holding. The recruits attacking the enemy in the flank is also a big help to them. Really need the general to get over there. He will... Excellent. Yep. That made a big difference. Big, big difference. Grenadiers were taking fire from the enemy guns. Alright, Crownland recruits. Let's get back into a firing position there. Fantastic work. Excellent. Grenadiers are moving up on the enemy flank. The Prussian musketeers are basically done for. Let's get Von Daun back out of there real quick. This'll be it. Well, no, they do have troops that have returned to the battle, actually, so it won't be it. But let's go ahead and move our troops up here. Get some of our troops back behind the lines here. Move up the general. Set the Hungarians in support of our men. Excellent. Okay. Okay, we might actually want to attack these units before they just return. Yeah, I think that's the play. Excellent. Okay. And that'll give the Hungarians plenty more kills as well. That should help out immeasurably. Alright. Artillery needs to be moved up, I think, a little bit, so they can better support the troops. That is their elite troops that has come back, so alright, very interesting. I don't really want those boys going up there at the moment if we can help it. Alright, we should move up right here and set up the guns. That looks like a good position. Alright, set up Dawn here behind the men. That should work out well. They're still massacring troops, that's good news. Artillery is opening fire on them. We just received a volley. Morale is not excellent, but Dawn has just arrived. That should help immeasurably. And now we are flanking them with yet more Crownland recruits. Alright, Hungarians are approaching. Fantastic. Alright, this shouldn't take too long. Their morale has plummeted. right. Took a nasty hit there. Alright, looking good, looking good. We'll see if they last until the Hungarians get there. Let's see, their melee is 41-41 right now. Alright. Charge is better, but the melee on our Hungarians is better. We'll see what happens here. Look at that charge. Look at those brilliant troops. Excellent. And they just shattered their morale. Nah, they couldn't hold that. Nope. Alright. We are going to do conscription. Hopefully that'll save our cavalry. I really hope so. Victory at Hennersdorf. Very good. 411 for their horse artillery, 278 for the field artillery, 127 Freikorps recruits, 164 for their Hussaren. Yeah, most of their troops here didn't get much. The Heinrich von Prussen Fusilier got 368. The Fusilier got 311. Okay, so they didn't get too much. 2003, 4806. All of our troops did swimmingly. Very, very good. Only problem is I'm not sure our cavalry is going to survive that. Okay, freshwater supply. Unit professionalism. Recruit veterancy when recruited. I think we're going to get that, because we may have just lost our cavalry as well. But that will help offset the Habsburg issue of recruits getting less experience, because this will allow us to move them into their promoted unit types a lot faster. I do like stamina, but I think we're going to do this one. That should help us quite a lot. Come on, cavalry, survive. Oh, no. Alright, well. Unfortunate. We lost our cavalry. That may very well hurt pretty bad in the upcoming headquarters battle. We are a little bit lower on ammo. Somewhat worse for wear. Okay. Check the bayonet status. Bayonets are good. Of course, we may yet still need that. We can move this item down here to use for events. Same with these right now. Would come in handy to get several more units. That is for sure. Right, cover effectiveness and max range. That's not too bad. We got more weaponry here. Don't need that. Let's see, artillery. What do you got going on? Morale, you don't really need morale, but reload you could use. 30 seconds to 29.5. Let's see how the difference is for our infantry here, for example. $41, okay. Alright, excellent. Let's see. They can... Okay, nope. They're still at 4, actually. Hungarians, they're still doing alright. Alright, everybody's kind of still waiting on more experience. They have Tulas. Let me take that off for a moment and see what we got. Okay, that's not too bad. Now, this does range and cover effectiveness. I might do that for them so we have a little bit better range going on there. It stacks with the max range of the engineer as well. Should help because these howitzers have crap for range. It's not a very good gun either. It's a 6-pounder. So, it should help somewhat. Give them accuracy. It might help a little bit more than a reload even. That should work very well. I think this will be a good combination for the troops at the moment. We'll do this. And ammo. Help them hold a little while longer. Morale should help. They have Souls. I like Souls. I think that's a good situation for them to have. Alright, Potsdam's there for them. Morale and stamina. Let's give this here. We'll do this for these guys since they've got something for morale. And that'll help them reload just a smidge faster because both these Crown Line recruits have crap reload. Absolute crap. 42 seconds. Yikes. Yikes indeed. Okay. Okay, I think this is it. Yeah. Alright. So, 210 out of 216. We're not going to make it down here to either of those. We pretty much expended all the other events on the map. We could go to a town, but we mostly hit up all the towns as well. We don't really have ammo for drilling, though. That's the problem. 8 ammo used daily. 6 days, I guess, is not too bad. We'll do it. I want to make sure we have the replenishment. Alright, let's go ahead and do it up. I mean, yeah, we're going to run out of ammo reserves here, but we'll have enough ammo for the battle itself. So that should be fine. Enemy headquarters in pursuit. General, our scouts report the enemy headquarters mustered its full army and is marching to engage us. Columns move on the main road with advance guards out. Expect contact within days. We cannot outrun them. We must face them. Okay, let's see how we're doing here. Oh, we have new traits we can get. That's fantastic. Cover, effectiveness, charge, stamina. Okay. That's good. Alright. Charge, morale. Morale damage received. Officer death chance. Let's see what we get. Range, stamina chart. Yeah, zealous. Well, fire damage received. That's not great, but I do like zealous. We'll go with that. That should be good. Alright, we need an infantry combat ability here. If we can. Cavalry charge, no. Morale, not too bad. So death chance. Brave. We do receive more fire damage. Not too hip on that necessarily. But morale will allow our main line to hold longer. Yeah. I think we'll do that. We'll do brave. That should be alright. Alright, there are 5 now. Still, they need 6 or 7 to become sharpshoots, and those sharpshoots are pretty tough to get, actually. We're losing 19 food consumption a day. That's rough. We could make Hennersdorf. Because it won't let us drill anymore, actually, being out of ammo. Almost forgot about that. Alright, we'll make it in here. We took a little bit of attrition there. They don't have ammo, but they do have food, which we do somewhat need. We can get more troops as well. We can support 2 more recruits in here, and they will start at a higher veterancy. Let's see, Hungary. Okay, Crownland recruits. We could buy cavalry, but they're fairly expensive. For 577, the provincial Grenzers are not that good, unfortunately. Hungarian Hussars, however, are fantastic. But again, they're super expensive. Austrian Chevalier. Alright. I think we're going to go ahead and get the Crownland recruits. And how many Grenzer units do we have now? We got 2. Hungarians, Crownland. So we can get another Grenzer recruit. That's not too bad. And that'll help equip us a little bit to set up for another, like, sharpshooter. Should be good. We'll put the proper Grenadiers here. That way the Grenzers are all in the same unit here with the artillery. Should be good. Alright, and the good news is, we might want to give morale to the new units. Take it off of these guys. Their morale is pretty bad. Well, there they are. 32. Yeah, 32 is not great. Do that. And that. Okay, and then we need to make sure they have better firearms as well. Potsdams for the Crownland. And Grenzer recruits. Charlevilles. That should work out fairly well. Hold on to the Tulas for the moment. Alright, I think this is as prepared as we're going to get for the headquarters army. Gonna buy up a bunch of food. No, that eats into our monies, but that way we're not lacking in that department. Enemy headquarters approaching. Still out of ammo. Not gonna buy it there, that's for sure. We could try marching on down the road again, but I don't know how far we'll get. They're pretty close. Yeah. Ooh, I saw another army. I saw another army. I'm not sure if we can even reach them, but that'd be neat. Look at that. We can crush these guys real quick before we fight the headquarters. They have Freikorps Jaegers, Freikorps Musketeers, Freikorps Recruits, 2 of them, and Freikorps Hussars. Let's go ahead and take these guys out real quick. That's awesome. We can use that to get some extra ammo. Didn't realize there was a little army hanging around up here, but that benefits us quite a lot, actually. That is quite good. Fantastic. Alright. See the terrain here. Wow, almost totally open terrain. We are going to go to this side of the river. There is no question about that. Can't really... We can start most of our force over here on this side of the river. The artillery will not have a hill to set upon or anything. So, there's that. But it'll be alright. We also don't have any more cavalry, unfortunately. The cavalry we had was shattered by enemy artillery. That's pretty hilarious that enemy artillery focuses down broken units to fire on. That's pretty funny. Okay. Crownland recruits. Let's see, what experience do you have? We really want to get them ranked up, if at all possible. For the next battle. That would be absolutely brilliant. Alright, that's not bad. I like that they start at 3, though. That's really good. Alright, we're going to unlimber the guns. Well, we better get them a little closer to the line if possible. Just so they'll get to fire sooner. We'll keep an eye on that. Hungarian recruits. Both of our 2 primary grenadiers will be setting... Oh, okay. Well, it helps if I select both of them. Alright, excellent. Set them over here. Italian troops will be in reserve. And our skirmishers will be totally in reserve. We want to keep them out of the fighting. Primarily for replenishment purposes and to keep them fresh for the headquarters battle. This should be pretty good. Excellent. Except that they're firing at the Jaegers. That's not great. That sucks. Fire at the Hussars. Excellent. Okay. Excellent. Okay, the Musketeers are doing some funny business as well. Let us shift some of the Grenadiers across the line a little bit here, so as to make sure that every unit has Grenadier support. That's ideal. Okay, move the general back here this way as well. The Italian troops, let's see, that's where they have the Musketeers, is on this flank, so I'm going to move them over here as well. Alright. Excellent. Opening fire on the enemy. Doing our thing. Crownland recruits cannot do a whole lot of fire to the enemy, so we're going to move them up a little bit. They can offer a little more fire there. Excellent. Wow, that was a devastating blow by the Grenzer recruits right there in the flank of the Freikorps Musketeers. That works out quite nicely. Alright, taking some fire to our recruits. Nothing too crazy. But, yeah. We're going to move across the river here to get better firing position. Moving the grenadiers with them, of course. Just to cover our flanks there. Artillery, excellent. Continue firing on the cavalry. So far it's going fairly well. We want to try and minimize casualties if at all possible. Excellent. Alright, moving the Grenzers up so they can take shots at the enemy troops. Fantastic. Alright, well we can just move these guys up as well. That's okay with me. Excellent. Recruits are taking some casualties, but we'll be alright. Whoa, what are you guys... Okay, that's not what I told you to do, actually. I think what happened is I accidentally moved them to do what I wanted the Grenadiers to do. I selected them to do that, I guess. Alright, that's okay. We'll figure it out. Excellent. Alright, that's working out very nicely against the recruits there. That's doing very good. Okay. Good to see. Alright, boys, open fire. Come on. Alright, we're going to prepare the Crown Line recruits for melee, and we're going to move the Hungarians up to face the enemy cavalry, because when we charge here, their cavalry is very likely to respond in kind. The chances are high. Move this unit of Grenadiers up in preparation for the enemy cavalry as well. The cavalry, though, is basically in retreat. Alright, we're going to send the Grenadiers after them. Excellent. We should be able to hold that very well. Yeah, we run them off. Excellent. Grenadiers moving up. Enemies in retreat. Excellent. Slaughtering them as most effectively as we can. Crownland recruits joining together against the Freikorps recruits. And this should be the battle. Their morale is plummeting. Excellent. Alright, not too bad. Pretty good battle. We'll see what we get as far as experience and promotions. And then we've got to fight the headquarters of Act 1. Definitely need to get ammo, that's for sure. Alright, not too bad. 114 for the Freikorps recruits, 220 for the Freikorps Jaegers, and 195 for the Freikorps recruits. Okay, so not the best of the best necessarily, but it went fairly well. Yeah, ransom. Get that ammo and some tallers. A few promotions, that's good. Good to see that. This needs to be sold. This needs to be kept for now. We can keep that. Likewise that. We'll use this now, actually. Move this down here. Alright, iron ramrods. Fantastic. Alright. Oof, alright, so we gained a net 7 ammo. That's pretty funny. Doing excellent on XP, like these Hungarian recruits. They're doing awesome. They're going to be Hungarian Fusilier soon. There's still 5. Okay. Of course, they didn't get much from that. Grenzers. I don't know if I want them to be provincial cavalry. I think we're going to go Fusiliers again with them. Now, the Crownland recruits are rank 4. So, how good are the Netherlander? Ooh, 35 and 30 with 1,200 men. I do kind of like that, honestly. I think I'd like some Netherlander troops. I know I like Netherlander artillery. So, Austrian artillery is quite phenomenal in my opinion. Of course, veteran Jaegers. Wow. It's pretty great. Alright, well, they can't become anything I want them to become just yet, so... Because this is 6, this is 5. And I really want the Netherlander artillery as opposed to the Austrian artillery. I know that 30 and 30 is better than 30 and 20. But the Netherlander artillery has 2 extra guns because of regiment size. Each set of 25 soldiers offers another gun to the unit. So Netherlander field artillery has 6 guns, I believe, as opposed to 4 guns for the Austrian artillery. Even though the stats are a little bit higher for the Austrian artillery, you're getting more guns firing. And from my point of view, if you add good items, then you'll negate the lower stats on the Netherlanders. So that should be fine. All right. Should be good, guys. Let's engage the headquarters army. Let's do it. Battle of Hennersdorf. Alright, they do have 3 cavalry units. Prussian Husaren, Prussian Cuirassiers, field artillery, 2 of those, 2 battalions of artillery, musketeers, 2 units of musketeers actually, land millets, 2 Cantonist recruits, the Bayreuth Dragoner, and 2 Prussian veteran musketeer. Alright, let's do it. Let's fight them. Let's do it up. Biggest concern, of course, is their cavalry advantage and their artillery advantage. We'll see what we can do. I really want to get aggressive and press their line so they can't use their strength against us. My concern, however, and that means we can pressure the guns too, my concern is the enemy cavalry being a problem. So I believe we're going to set up in these woods across this river. We're going to set up our skirmishers here first. Let's see. Oh, duh. It's deployment phase. What are you doing? Okay. Let's see where they got their elite units. Veteran musketeers. Okay. Yeah, their cavalry's pretty tough. What about their artillery? Iron. 60 accuracy and 27 reload ain't bad for this early. 63-29, 64-28, 56-27. All right, well, they've got a lot of fast-firing guns. That could be pretty dangerous to us. Recruits are filling this section of their line here, so their right wing is actually their weaker wing, which gives me an idea. That gives me an idea. Our main line can be here. Artillery will be set up here like so. Alright, that's fantastic. We'll keep the general here, I believe. And then when their troops decide to come down through here, we'll smash one of their flanks with our troops stationed here. Set them up in the woods, however. Okay, let's set up our skirmishers. I may want a unit here on the flank, just to be sure we're good to go. I don't want to be outflanked too hard in this situation. The artillery is most likely going to focus on Dawn, so I don't want him behind the grenadiers. Not particularly, anyway. Alright, that should be fine. They'll get over here on the double quick. They'll be alright. Alright, time to move up, boys. I really would like them inside the river when they fight me, if possible. If that's possible. To force such a situation. So I'm going to move the grenadiers back here some more. I'm going to thin the line of grenadiers a little bit. It will make them a little less effective in melee, but I do not want them getting smashed by enemy artillery. If we can help it at all. The good news here is because we set up these troops here, they're going to encounter this section of the line first. And they're going to lose their opportunity to flank us here. We'll see what they decide to do. They are a defensive army. But our little setup here could be detrimental to that fact. So, could really benefit us here. We'll have to see. Have to see if they actually approach us or what they're going to do exactly. They are in a good deal of cover, though, so I think I want them to hold their fire. Now, their artillery, can it fire on us yet? I'm not sure what they're doing. I think they're sitting there holding position. Let's move the grenadiers here, along with the Italians. See if we can harass their flank a little bit. We will adjust the grenadiers that remain, just to be sure our line is safe. Send this little detachment over here. Hopefully it's a good idea. We'll have to find out, I suppose. It might be, it might not be. We'll have to see. It's, as of this moment, it's undetermined. Alright, they're moving up to face us here. They are transferring a good deal of their line over here. I may decide to move the skirmishers and our other grenadiers across. That'd be pretty funny. It might be even more funny if we just shift our army this way and begin to roll up their flank. That would be pretty funny as well. We could totally shift our lines here. That'd be very, 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 very funny. Who knows if they'd have any idea how to handle that situation. Move the grenadiers up. Their artillery is opening fire. Alright. Let's see what happens here. This is very interesting. Alright, Musketeers, what's their melee? 34, 35. So we could defeat them with our Hungarian Grenadiers if we need to. I'm not sure that I want to move all of these troops over. Let's get the Grenzer recruits. They're fast enough for it. But they're kind of holding position because of our massive force here in the woods. And I'd like to try to keep that up if we can. Gonna get Dawn over here. And it'd be good if we can set up the guns over here as well. That would give us a great firing position on the enemy. Excellent. Alright, we're going to get some flanking fire in here with our skirmishers. That is going to be brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Get the grenadiers to cover fire for them. Okay, so veteran musketeers, what's their melee? 2442. Okay, we could push that off with our grenadiers. That'd be pretty great, actually, if we can manage that. Set up the recruits in here just so we have some cover on the flank there. Alright, they're getting flanked. We need to do something about it with our grenadiers. Set up Von Dawn there. Alright, here we go. Grenadiers are on the move. Set up Von Dawn's position a little bit better. Excellent. We can begin to fire on the enemy. Set up the guns on the hill here. That should go very well. Alright, we're going to get the Hungarians to hit them in their flank. Bring over Von Dawn to help them out. They're starting to shift several more troops over here now. Very interesting situation. Fantastic. Going to shift over to the other line here. Now they do have, it looks like, cavalry movement, which is not fantastic. Alright, let's set up our skirmisher line here. Would be ideal if we could get the Italians to move up. Perhaps not. Perhaps we give them a false sense of security with the woods there. Alright, boys. Let's pull back. Withdraw the grenadiers for the moment. Excellent. Send Von Dawn back up here. Okay, I want them firing on the cavalry. That's the best thing to do. Alright, we're going to start moving this whole flank up. That should be good. We're going to shift the line just a little here to give us a little bit better coverage. Then we're going to get the grenadiers in position to cover our line units here. Hopefully enemy cavalry won't screw us over. Our grenadiers are going into position. Cantonist recruits are opening fire on the Hungarians. Crown land recruits are moving up. Excellent. They still have plenty of cavalry in reserve, which is dangerous. Extremely dangerous for us. Alright, we're charging them across the river. It's risky. It's very risky. Taking out their recruits there. Joseph Von Dawn is getting hammered by enemy artillery. I'm going to set him behind the skirmishers. Wow, he's getting smacked hard. That's rough. I don't really need Von Dawn breaking at the moment. That would be very bad. The Prussians are beginning to open fire on the Hungarians. What they don't know is, while the Hungarians are preparing to charge, they're about to get hit in the flank by enemy troops as well. So it's not about to be a fun time for them. Shifting the line aside for a moment. Made contact with the enemy musketeers. Excellent. Run off the recruits from the woods that thought they were safe. Still firing on the enemy cavalry. And now we've run off the musketeers. Now we've got to really watch ourselves because of enemy cavalry right here. So let's set up the line of defense here for a moment. We've got to proceed very cautiously. Or we could lose that flank to the enemy cavalry if we don't do things wisely. Enemy guns are moving on us. Let's go ahead and move across here. Troops are firing, doing an excellent job holding the line. Artillery's doing a phenomenal job hitting their cavalry. Of course, our skirmishers are doing a great job of covering the friendly lines here. Got to watch the enemy cavalry. That could be a huge problem. Ah, like those cuirassiers. Alright. That's an issue. Get out of there, boys. Nope. No. Now's not the time to do battle with the enemy cavalry. Excellent work, grenadiers. Come on. Take them out, boys. Take them out. Keep it up. Come on, boys. Grenadiers are doing great work over there. Excellent. We've run them off. Phenomenal. Just what I need them to do. We were a little late on the draw with the skirmishers getting out of there. But that did the trick, and now we've shattered them. Excellent. Getting fired on by multiple units there. Not fantastic for them. Okay, set up the Crownland recruits here on this side of the river. And we're going to have the Hungarian recruits standing by to countercharge anything we need to in melee. Enemy artillery, you're doing good, but I want you to fire on the cavalry. Our infantry can better handle enemy infantry than cavalry, that is for sure. Enemy infantry is on the approach. Excellent. We are hammering them with fire. That's brilliant. We are spread out right now across this river. It's a very interesting battlefield. Okay. They got cavalry on the move. They are charging our men. Let's throw them back with the Hungarians. Excellent. My main concern is that cavalry. In fact, that's the main obstacle to our maneuvers at the moment, is the enemy cavalry. Let's see if we can get a little better firing position here. That looks good. Alright. Of course, what's the issue here? Again, enemy cavalry presence. Big problem. Grenadiers have to move up to the front quickly, especially... Okay. Yep, let's move this back because they are about to charge our skirmishers here. You can see it. It's about to happen. Come on, boys. Do it up. Take out those hussars. Pull back across the river, boys. It's not as much of a tenable position anymore. Excellent work, Grenadiers. We've run off their cavalry. That's very good work. Solid work. Very pleased with our Grenadiers right now. Oh, man, I do so love Hungarian troops in this game. They are brilliant. The Italians are holding the line over here, man. They are putting in work. Man, these Italian troops are epic. Epic indeed. Let's move the Hungarians up in here. And we can take these woods and several of the buildings as our new defensive strong point. We can move the skirmishers up here together under the protection of our other grenadiers. Alright. This will give them... Oh, okay. Retreat, skirmishers, retreat. Here comes the enemy. Grenadiers, into the fold once more. Excellent work, boys. Excellent. Alright, we're going to keep pressing the assault over here. Got the skirmishers, got the grenadiers set up. Fantastic. We're going to adjust the line here with the Crownland recruits. Excellent. Alright, the Italians are firing on the enemy. They are suffering heavy casualties, but they are our right wing. Hussars are coming at us. Alright. Retreat. Charge, boys. Come on, grenadiers. Let's do it. Excellent. Just what we needed. Grenadiers are hitting the enemy gun positions. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Alright. Group up. Get ready to charge across the river there, boys. Grenzers, prepare for assault. Ooh, man, the Hungarians just ate a bunch of grape shot. That's rough. The Italians have run off the enemy. We'll have the grenadiers here holding in reserve in the event the enemy cavalry does make a return to the battlefield, as they might, maybe. Charge together, boys. Charge together. Take them out. Okay. I don't normally send the Grenz recruits into melee, but they're getting close enough to the artillery that they should be able to handle it. Excellent. Alright. Musketeers are getting hit by overwhelming numbers, and that's the battle. Alright, guys. That went brilliantly. I'm so pleased with how that battle went. We were able to maneuver, even with limited options, with no cavalry, and overcame an enemy with superior cavalry and artillery. Now, we did take some casualties to our units, but that went very, very well. We used the enemy's caution against them. We managed to find ways to maneuver, and we supported our troops with one another very effectively. Okay, 258 casualties to the Prussian field artillery, 354 to the battalion of artillery, 170 to the other battalion of artillery. However, one only got 5 kills. 311 for Prussian musketeers, 177 for the Husaren, 353 for the cuirassiers, 173 for musketeers, 125 for the veteran musketeers, 197 for the others. That's brilliant. Our men did so well. The Italians got hammered by the enemy artillery. They held their ground. They were the anchor to our entire army there. That was brilliant. They did awesome. I'm so glad we have them in our force right now. They are an excellent addition to our army. And of course, our grenadiers are just absolutely brilliant. Alright, guys. We have 7 ammo. We need to get ammo. We have some really good items here, too. I mean, they're basic. I know it's still junk, but compared to the things we need, this will help immensely. So, Tollers and ammo. The Italians spent basically all their ammo. They were almost out. Alright. Excellent. Replenishment. And we have a new trait. That's very, very good. Let's see what we get here. Cover effectiveness, lose some charge. Range, lose some speed. or morale. I do like stacking the cover effectiveness. Especially since it's skirmishers, we will have more range. So let's do the cover effectiveness because we're not going to be charging them. Alright, artillery. Go ahead and adjust this stuff and upgrade them as we go along. Let's see, we do have a promotion here to field artillery. That's very good. Lots of experience for our troops. Hungarian recruits are now fusilier. Brilliant. That's awesome. Alright. The sharpshoots can't get promoted anymore, but their levels will increase their statistics and their abilities. Alright, not too bad. The Grenzer recruits are now 4s. Not quite there to be fusilier, but we'll do it. Italians have a promotion. They're proper fusiliers now. Fantastic. They did a great job. They deserve it. Alright, 4 and 4. Still can't quite do what we want them to do. That's fine. Not a big deal. Alright. Here we are. Choose a doctrine. Battle move speed and charge for blitz. Foreign advisors. Combat effectiveness goes up, but we lose experience gain. Or melee discipline. Increase melee skill by 5%. I do like all of these, actually. However, I believe we are going to go with foreign advisors. Combat effectiveness, again, that's a 5% increase is all. But it increases charge, melee, accuracy, and reload. So I do quite like that. Go with that. Alright. So, we can invade Brandenburg. Get the Perkop artillery. Wow. 50 accuracy and 40 reload. Wow. That's powerful. Preserved rations, provision consumption minus 20%. That is not bad at all. And the funny thing about this is it wants us to get forts again. That means if we get all 4 forts, we should get 4 more doctrines. That's phenomenal. I like that one already. Invade Brandenburg. That's cool. Reinforce Hungary. So we'll still be fighting Prussians here. If we reinforce Hungary, we'll be fighting the British. De ligne fusilier. Loading drills, reload 10%. That's pretty good. Or protect Greater Poland against the Prussians. Steady ranks. Reduces morale damage by 10%, which this is an excellent doctrine in my opinion. And the Devine Grenadier. Not too bad. We're going to go for the Perkop artillery though, guys. Invading Brandenburg. Preserved rations for ration consumption. That is excellent. This is so cool. Besides invading Brandenburg, yeah. Let's kick Frederick the Great where it hurts. Let's do it. All right. Act 2, Brandenburg. All right. Man, really looking forward to this Act 2. Very interesting so far. Temperatures plummet. General, the army stands upon a new frontier. The enemy has used the lull to prepare. Patrols flood the roads, and field armies will begin hunting us once we've made our presence known. The year has turned cold early. Within weeks, snow will be regular and marches will slow. Lay in provisions and firewood and expect to fight in winter throughout this country. Secure your supply depot, but do not linger. Press the advance before your supplies diminish. Alright, get the supply cache real quick. Fantastic. Let's take a little look around the battlefield, or the map, I should say. 3 battlefields. That should not be difficult. We have 4 right next to us, pretty much. And 1 over here. So the battlefields are easy. And 4 forts. We have 1 right north of us. Several scattered all throughout the northern part of the map. And then 1 in the south. So I may run down south here first. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll hit north first. Head on over to the east. Go south. And then back west. That'd probably be a better plan. Because then we'll complete things sooner going this way. Then we will down here. We'll have our extra artillery and our doctrine. Alright, guys. Thank you all for joining me. God bless.